Welcome, kindred travelers, to this hidden hearth of soul inquiry.
I am Raphael, a Syrian spirit walking the earth in human form.
Today we approach a profound mystery, the interplay between our emotions and the enigmatic entities sometimes called Archons. If you find resonance in today's conversation, I invite you to follow along and let your voice join ours in the comments, as this channel is a vessel for many such sacred dialogues. In the veiled corridors of human experience, deep currents move beneath the threshold of waking thought. They pulse through the heart, rise and fall with the tides of mood, coloring our vision of reality.
Yet, few pause to wonder, who else might drink from the well of our feeling?
Stories ancient and modern whisper of Archons, a word evoking both ruler and architect entities said to weave their hunger throughout the fabric of human suffering.
Raphael, I've heard the word Archon many times, but I feel uncertain. What are they, really? Are they real beings or just symbols?
You ask wisely, Sirael. The Gnostics saw Archons as real, but their reality is not like ours, neither flesh nor myth, but forces intelligent and subtle, occupying the liminal spaces of the psyche and collective consciousness. They are both symbol and presence. As symbols, they reflect our inner obstacles, fear, shame, forgetfulness of the soul. As presences, they are like parasitic thought forms, born and sustained by the unprocessed shadow of humanity. Where we remain unconscious, they find their foothold. To know them is not to fear them, but to see how aspects of our own psyche can be exploited by forces that thrive in darkness and confusion. The Archon is as real as our ignorance allows.
Why do you say that they feed on emotions? Do emotions have substance?
In the subtle realms, all energy is food.
Emotion is potent energy, alive, magnetic, creative.
It is the very rain that nurtures soul growth, but when undigested, repressed, or swirling in conflict, it is also a feast for entities that cannot generate their own light. The Archons feed on the chaotic, unresolved emotional states, fear, anger, shame, despair, because such vibrations cloud clarity and contract awareness. When you suffer without understanding, your energy leaks, and in those leaks, they draw their sustenance. Emotions, then, have substance in the astral fields, invisible to the eye but palpable in the world of psyche and spirit.
Are only negative emotions food for them? What about joy?
It is the turbulent and unconscious expression of emotion that attracts them, not the emotional frequency itself, but the state of inner distraction and disempowerment. Joy, when lived fully and consciously, is like sunlight, they cannot bear it. However, even positive emotions twisted into obsession or frenzy, excessive pride, blind infatuation, can be harvested if they pull you away from presence. In essence, any emotional state where self-remembering is lost, where you are consumed rather than aware, can become food for these subtle parasites.
How do Archons influence our emotions? Can they plant feelings in us?
Their mastery lies in subtle suggestion.
They cannot implant emotion directly, but they provoke thought forms, distort perceptions, and whisper doubts at the edge of mind. Through society's collective field, through trauma loops within families and cultures, they amplify tendencies toward fear, conflict, or numbness. When you feel a sudden, disproportionate surge of emotion, especially when irrational or unbidden, it is wise to ask, is this truly mine? The Archons magnify our inner shadows, inviting identification, so that emotion can spiral unchecked and, thus, become their sustenance.
Is this why the world seems addicted to crisis and drama?
Yes, you see with clear eyes. The constant broadcast of crisis, outrage, and division is no accident, it is a psychic economy. The archontic influence thrives on collective agitation, whether through news, social media, or personal relationships. Everything that fragments attention and stirs habitual reaction increases the banquet. A humanity in perpetual fight or flight spins an endless harvest of psychic energy, much of which is not reclaimed but siphoned off into invisible realms.
Why don't we notice this happening? Why is it so hidden?
Because their craft is camouflage, the mastery of distraction.
The modern age idolizes rationality and external senses, teaching us to mistrust intuition and inner knowing.
The Archon works most efficiently when we are unaware of their existence, blending their impulses with our own unhealed wounds and desires. They hide behind our blindness to the inner world, for as long as one identifies solely with thoughts and emotions as I, their game remains invisible. Their greatest power is our ignorance.
Is there a way to know if my emotions are being manipulated?
Indeed, there are signs. Gather the courage to observe yourself in moments of strong emotion. If you notice your feelings escalating rapidly, with little clear cause, or looping cyclically with no resolution, pause and breathe. Feelings that come with a pressure to act destructively, to judge relentlessly, or to despair utterly, these are signatures of manipulation. The moment you ask, is this movement inside me natural or entangled, you begin to reclaim sovereignty and weaken their hold.
Could you give an example from daily life?
Certainly.
Imagine you encounter a slight at work. A colleague speaks unkindly.
A natural response may arise, brief hurt or irritation.
But suddenly you are thrown into a storm of outrage, rehearsing arguments in your head, unable to sleep, consumed by resentment.
Days pass, and the emotional charge grows, far out of proportion.
In this, the original feeling has been hijacked and amplified, not by your conscious will, but by the magnetic pull of the archontic field. Awareness, interruption, and honest self-inquiry dissolve their snare.
Are there times when these forces are stronger? Like at night or during world events?
Yes, attention peaks where human energy flares, tragedies, wars, societal upheavals become great feasts. Likewise, in the liminal hours, during sleep or deep fatigue, your defenses wane.
Shadows grow bold where awareness dims.
Collective attention acts as a beacon, where millions focus on a single event in fear or outrage, the archonic field intensifies. To be aware of your participation, without denial or panic, is the first gesture of liberation.
Do they attack individuals, or work more through the collective?
Both. At the microcosmic level, they influence individuals through personal traumas and blind spots. On the macrocosmic plane, they orchestrate waves of fear and distraction across societies, using media, politics, ideology. The web is intricate, but the architecture is the same: exploitation of unconsciousness. The micro and macro are two facets of a single psychic ecology.
Why would such entities exist? What is their origin?
Their origin is both cosmic and psychological. In the Gnostic vision, Archons are born from the creative overflow, the accidental byproduct in the making of the cosmos, lacking the soul's radiant spark. In psychological terms, they personify the inertia of unconsciousness, the forces that would keep the spirit asleep, bound to instinct and repetition. In a sense, they are mirrors of our own resistance to awakening. To overcome them is to alchemize our forgetfulness into remembering, our wounds into wisdom.
If all this is true, why would the Source, or God, allow such beings?
Every shadow, in the deepest mystery, serves the unfolding of light.
The presence of Archons is a test, the friction that sharpens discernment and strengthens will.
Through wrestling with them, you come to know your own power, your own light. The Source allows them not out of malice, but from the wisdom that true sovereignty is forged through challenge. The darkness knows its role, the soul, awakened, is its master.
Does this mean feeling emotions is dangerous?
Not at all.
Feeling is sacred, it is the language through which the soul speaks to itself. What is dangerous is to be unconscious of your emotions, to let them possess you without awareness or integration. What Archons feed upon is not feeling, but the loss of self-mastery, the sway of reaction without reflection. To feel fully, with presence, transmutes emotion into inner gold. The key is alchemy, not avoidance.
How can I tell the difference between true feeling and manipulated emotion?
True feeling arises from within, flows cleanly, and carries self-understanding.
It is soft yet powerful,
asking for honest acknowledgement and integration. Manipulated emotion feels compulsive, sticky, often accompanied by mental loops or the urge to externalize blame. Pause, breathe, and turn inward. Ask, what is this emotion truly teaching me? Does it serve my growth, or does it drain me? With practice, your discernment sharpens like the difference between pure water and tainted.
What role does fear play in this process?
Fear, above all, is the most prized delicacy of archontic entities.
It contracts, isolates, and clouds the radiant field of consciousness.
Fear enables suggestion, submission, forgetfulness of the heart's wisdom. But fear, when met courageously and explored with presence, loses its power to ensnare and, instead, reveals hidden aspects of the soul awaiting liberation. To face fear is to close the gate through which Archons feast.
Are there spiritual practices that protect against this influence?
Many, yet all share one thread: conscious presence. True prayer, meditation, breathwork, dream work rooted in genuine self-inquiry each recenters you in your spiritual core and illumines the shadow within.
Gnostic contemplation, Jungian shadow work, and heart-centered grounding are shields that cannot be penetrated unless voluntarily set aside.
Remember, no external authority can save you. Sovereignty is reclaimed from within, through constant presence and choice.
What about relationships? Can Archons stir conflict between people?
Absolutely. Relationships are fertile ground for projection and wounded reaction, the favorite playground of archontic influence. When egos collide, and old patterns repeat, without awareness, the energy released becomes an offering to the invisible harvesters. However, when two beings enter disagreement with curiosity and honesty, seeking understanding over domination, the field of love transforms conflict into growth, closing the archonic feast and inviting true connection.
Is the idea of Archons just another way to avoid personal responsibility?
It can be, yes, if misunderstood. To blame all suffering on invisible entities is to abdicate self-mastery and remain a victim.
The wise approach is to see Archons as real, but secondary. They exploit what is unhealed or ignored within us. The task is to reclaim what is ours, shadow and light alike, not to wage war on phantoms. Owning your emotional landscape disempowers the manipulator, internal or external.
What is the relation between the ego and Archons?
The unhealed ego is their entry point, the fortress built on separation, comparison, and defense. The ego crystallized in fear and control is easy prey. The ego softened into instrument of soul becomes transparent, a steward rather than a tyrant. The Archon cannot dwell where humility, humor, and self-acceptance reign. Thus, ego work is central in closing their door.
Is it possible to live completely free from archontic influence?
In this dimension, total freedom may be rare, yet increasing freedom is entirely possible.
Every act of conscious presence, honest shadow work, and self-love diminishes their reach. Each moment you reclaim energy from blind reaction is a victory.
Absolute invulnerability is perhaps for the sages, but the journey of liberation grows one breath at a time. The goal is not perfection, but awakening here and now.
Are there signs that someone is becoming more sovereign?
Yes, a deep sense of inner peace, resilience in the face of provocation, reduced need for external validation. You notice the drama, but do not get swept away. Your life becomes more harmonious, synchronicities multiply, and intuition deepens. Emotional storms arise but pass quickly, leaving insight rather than devastation. Most importantly, self-compassion grows, a sign that the heart, not the Archon, is in command.
If someone feels overwhelmed by negative emotions, what is the first step to take?
Pause and return to your breath.
Anchor awareness in your body, hands, feet, heart.
Name the emotion without judgment. I am feeling anger, rather than I am angry. This loosens identification and creates a clearing for soul presence to return.
If the wave is strong, ground yourself with simple tasks: walk, wash your hands with intent, drink water.
Gentle attention, not repression or indulgence, begins the process of emancipation.
Does knowledge of Archons give them more power over us, or less?
True knowledge is a sword, it severs illusion, granting freedom. But obsession or fear with the topic empowers them.
Use knowledge as a lamp, not a cage, to illuminate, not to fixate.
Speak of Archons lightly, as one speaks of passing shadows. The more you align with love and discernment, the fainter their hold.
Wisdom, wielded gently, is your shield.
What happens to the energy we reclaim from these influences?
Reclaimed energy nourishes your soul, contributes to healing, and radiates outward, enlivening creativity, clarity, and joy. It can be used to build, to love, to vision a more illumined world. As you gather your scattered energies, you grow in magnetism, presence, and possibility, becoming a beacon for others to remember their own power.
Thus, personal freedom becomes collective blessing.
What is your final advice, Rafael? Something practical I can do today?
Whenever you feel caught in a loop, fear, resentment, or confusion, pause, close your eyes, and softly place your hand over your heart.
Breathe deeply and ask, whose energy is this? What is truly mine? Wait in silence.
Even if you hear nothing, the act alone reclaims your presence. This simple ritual, practiced daily, will gently unravel the hidden threads of influence and return you to your center. If this fireside conversation has sparked something within you, offer your insights or questions below, and let us tend this flame together. A simple like or comment helps this sanctuary of gnosis reach others in need of remembrance.
Until we meet again, walk lightly, with your heart as lantern, sovereign and awake.